Hi, it's Matthew Dixon of MindAid.ca. I've got some news. I have wanted to turn MindAid into a charity or nonprofit or social business for the almost 6 years I've had it. MindAid went online in April or May of 2018. And I've lacked the leadership skill to run a nonprofit or social business. And the last few weeks or so, I've been getting some signs that maybe I'm ready. So another thing that happened was I heard about cooperatives. Cooperatives are nothing new. We've heard of farm co-ops and whatnot. There can be all sorts of co-ops, daycare co-ops, car sharing co-ops, healthcare co-ops. So a group in New Brunswick here is looking at my website and seeing if MindAid could be turned into a cooperative. And maybe with a cooperative, he said that people, if you're the founder of a nonprofit, you have more control over the nonprofit. But in a cooperative, you give up some of that control, as people have equal votes and votes, I guess, in a cooperative. So you may not be able to do everything that you yourself want to do, but the group can vote on it. So, and maybe that's why I was leaning towards starting this process, because with a cooperative, I wouldn't have to run it entirely. So I'm wanting to learn more about it, and he says he can walk me through it. He says MindAid might not be, a cooperative might not be a good fit for MindAid. A nonprofit might be a better choice. So I'm at least very happy that I started this process. With MindAid being an official entity, however it turns out to be, I'm hoping more people will donate to it. So something else that's happened is I'm really finding more peace and contentment and certainty throughout my day, knowing what to expect instead of for 30 years never knowing how I'll feel in the next 5 minutes, let alone tomorrow or the next day or 2 weeks or 2 months from now. It was very hard to plan things, and that's why I needed other people to help structure my day or to give me a purpose to get up in the morning. And I needed these outside things, but I'm finding more purpose from within, I guess you could say. I mean, I'm feeling more calm and centered, and Brad Blazer, Blazar, he helps people raise investment capital. I may have talked to him before on some of my videos here. He sent an email just the other day saying in a few days, next Tuesday, he's giving a course on how to, instead of seeking investment capital, how to be sought after. You will be a sought after opportunity, not someone who's slightly desperate or a lot desperate. My life has been a lot of desperation, trying to save my life. The movie Finding Nemo, that classic kids movie, Marlin the father loses his son, loses Nemo. Where is he? Where is he? He's desperate. He searches the ocean to find his son. And I've thought for years about desperation, and you know, people often tend to not to like to do business with people who are desperate. And so that's gone through my head a lot. Is it right? Is it wrong? How can you not be desperate when you're trying to save your life? You Google the headline, someone desperately tries to save their life, like a man drowning or whatever. There are hundreds of headlines in the news with that term in it. Anyway, I haven't quite made a final opinion on desperation and our attitudes or taboos or stigmas around it, but it's something I think about. I'm curious with this webinar he's giving, Brad Blazer, next Tuesday, how he'll teach to be the people coming to you. And that's a new mindset for me. And I just couldn't do it. With 30 years, I was desperately struggling. And to be someone who people seek out, and it makes me feel more, it's new for me, so it's a change. And the way I sort of think about it, I guess one thing that prevents me from doing that is, well, will I become lazy? Will I not have that hustle, that drive, that oomph, that gumption to go out and get what you want? And will I lose that? So I probably won't, but it's just something I'm trying to weigh because it's a change. I know years ago I was told they said to walk like a Marine, stand up straight, put your head back, chest out. And I started doing it, and it felt weird. I felt like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm just embarrassed to walk this way. But I started doing it, and after a while, you just get used to it, and it's whatever. I've been walking that way for years, and people compliment me on my posture. So maybe people will compliment me on not being lazy or not a hustler, but being someone who's sought out, who's who people look for. So anyway, that's a mindset shift I'm hoping to take on in the coming, well, for the rest of my life, I guess, until I have to hustle again and be desperate for something. Sometimes we have no choice but to be desperate. I can attest to that. The other thing I want to say is that Catherine Price, Catherine with a C, she's written a book and she's got a TED Talk called The Power of Fun. And she says fun, true fun, she says you have moments where you're just lighthearted, laughing with your friends, and just having a great old time, time's flying by. And she says, how can you have more of those moments instead of them just happening randomly and maybe not that often or at all for some people? She says some people describe themselves as being not fun people. And she says, how can we have more of these times? And so she asked 1,500 of her people on her email list to describe these times that they have. And she found that 3 things happen: connection, playfulness, and flow. A state of flow is when you're just in the zone, you're just on autopilot, you're just going through, doing your thing. It's musicians, when they're playing, get into this, or athletes, they get in the zone. That's what's called flow. And connection, she says, it often happens with other people, but connection can also be connection with nature or playing with a pet. And playfulness, just being playful. Stuart Brown, he's a play expert, he's got a book, and he says people can lose their sense of play in their life. He says that it can often, if it does leave someone, it often happens in their 60s. So are you still playful? Do you like to joke around, have fun? And the book, The Power of Fun, teaches you how to have more of these moments. She says one of the things is putting your phone down. She says when you're on your phone, you're not with other people. I mean, I guess unless you're having a Zoom with someone, being playful and connected and in flow. But generally, when we're not talking to someone in that way on our phone, we're just on our phones a lot. And she's got a whole book on I think it's called How to Break Up with Your Phone. And she says if you're on your phone, you probably won't be in what she calls true fun, where those 3 things, connection, playfulness, and flow, happen. The health benefits of true fun are phenomenal, she says. It's a wonderful feeling to just be in that zone with your friends, having a great old time where time just flies by. And she says you have to carve out time for it. She says you have to start doing fewer things and make time for fun. And she says you can't carve out a time like from 4 to 6 o'clock today we will have fun. But I mean, you do have to schedule some time out, I guess, but you have to do fewer things so that you allow you and get off your phone and be engaged in the world again and engage with people, having fun. It's play, as Stuart Brown says, can seem like a frivolous, useless activity as far as survival goes. How can this energy using non-productive thing actually be crucial? And he says it is crucial. Crucial is essential for happiness and for thriving. There are so many benefits to play and for true fun, and both Stuart Brown and Catherine Price can tell you more about it. I hope you check them out. That's the latest for now, and I gave a talk the other night to some people, family members of people with schizophrenia. It was one of my better talks in some ways. I should have given out more tips, I think, to them than I did, but what I was happy about that I hadn't done before was I was a lot more animated, much more happier, just having fun. And my voice was doing different things. I was going up in different pitches with my voice, being more fun, exciting. I mean, not quite like that. I forced that a bit, but yeah, it's just I'm feeling more upbeat, happier. Yeah, it's nice just to feel good about life. I've got things that aren't going right. Things like not the where I'm living. I'm living with my parents at 51. And some cultures they do that, but in our culture it's sort of frowned upon, I guess, or I don't know, whatever. Although many people are doing it. They've moved, and the new place isn't the best for accommodations for me, so I'm feeling a bit more homeless than usual. And I don't know what I'm doing. I've posted on Medium. I'm writing on Medium more regularly. I'm enjoying those. I'm hoping you can go and check me out there if you want to know more about what's going on in my head and how it might help you. I'm thinking of maybe going to Vancouver Island for the winter. I don't know, for January, February, March. I don't know. I've thought of doing that for years. I may not. I've got things here on the go. I've got a mental health town hall that I'm encouraging other people to do, other cities and communities to put these on. We're working on one in my hometown of St. Andrews, New Brunswick, and I'm very over the moon excited about that. So that will most likely happen this winter at some point, and I want to be here for that. And I've got a film coming out. The film on my bike ride across Canada this past summer is due out before the end of the year, before the end of the month, December. Uber excited about that. If it's any good, we don't know yet. We're hoping it's good. We're aiming to make it good. I'm not aiming to put out a bad film. I mean, who does that? Let's make a really poor film. Yeah, let's do it. Anyway, we're hoping it's good, and if it is, we'll put it in film festivals. And I don't know how that process works. I'm also thinking, I was talking to a friend just yesterday, saying, you know, I don't know why, but I haven't booked as many talks or interviews as I thought I would after my bike trip ended in early September. And for some reason, I just haven't been booking them. I don't know if it's because I knew my place of living would be a bit in turmoil for the last month or so, and I didn't know where I would be in order to film those. If I had dates set, I didn't know if I'd be able to get in front of a computer. Like my talk the other night, I went to, I booked a room in a community center for $32 for an hour to do a talk. And I'd rather not have to do that. I'd rather, I'm feeling a little homeless. But the other thing is that I like being homeless. I'm trying to find out what will make Matthew happy. I really am. Like I was talking to my friend the other night, I said, you know, with when you're doing interviews, whether they're virtual or in person, there's a time commitment. You have to be at a certain place, things have to be right, the internet connection has to be good, or if it's in person, you have to get there and be there on time, and you're sort of thinking about that through the rest of the day. And I enjoy doing them, and I don't find them that stressful, really. I'm a little bit over the map in how I want the rest of my life to go. Just the last few days, last week or so, I wondered how long it would last. It lasted about 3 months. 3 months from when I stopped biking to just staying put in my hometown here for the most part. And now I'm chomping at the bit to go and travel again. And I was wondering how long it would take. It took 3 months. I have Wanderlust badly. I may have to seek out Travelers Anonymous or Wanderlust Anonymous to curb these things. I love going places and seeing people, and I just do. And another part of me says, Matthew, sit down on your computer and do your virtual talks and work on Mind Aid. Help people who are in desperation. They're desperately trying to save their life, like I was with mental illness. That's who I'm trying to help. And I don't know. I generally just go day by day, and if there's a lot of energy behind something, if something sounds like a good idea, then I'll go do it. I try not to do too many things that are just not good ideas. I try to think about a lot. I come up with a lot of ideas. Some of them aren't all that great, and I may be talking about some of these on YouTube here or online, and I try to do things that make sense, so that will have be the best for me and for those around me. And I know some people might be thinking, Matthew, why are you doing the things you're doing? You may not agree that I'm making good decisions. I do them with my mind. For 30 years with schizophrenia, it was hard to think straight. It was hard to do things that made sense sometimes. I've had a long history of being very disabled and not being able to take on a lot of things. Yes, I bicycled across Canada. I knew I could do it. I'm still have to work on being more productive, I guess you could say, hustling. I try to watch my stress levels and just stay calm and happy, and that's one of my overarching goals, is just being calm and happy. So I'm wondering, after talking to my friend the other night, if I could make YouTube my main thing. I don't know if I will or not. This is just an idea. I may be doing lots of interviews and talks and traveling, or not traveling and just doing everything virtually for years. I don't know. With the environment and climate change, we shouldn't be driving around as much. Traveling, that's big in my mind. that's one of the reasons I thought, well, if we're going to all stay put here, if we all stop driving places and being more local, how can I grow my own food? Growing food, gardening, farming has been something of an interest for me for years. That's why I thought of willing workers on organic farms. You can't do that in the winter in Canada, but you can on Vancouver Island in Vancouver because it's warmer out there. They do have farms that operate year-round. I thought of going out there for the winter to do the work because you get free room and board. I know that's more scarcity thinking, I guess you could say, compared to what I'm trying to do. I don't want to, the woofers, willing workers on organic farms, they do great work, and part of me would love to do that. It's always been an appeal to me. But right now I'm thinking I should focus on Mind Aid more, and I really don't know. I'm just torn. I don't know what the right thing to do is. I've made a profile on willing workers, and I've reached out to a farm near Victoria. I will waiting to hear back. I don't know. I'm just I probably shouldn't beat myself up too much about my decisions, but I do. I try to do the things. I don't know. I have strong analytical traits when I do personality tests. I guess people have told me I think too much sometimes. Anyway, bottom line is what I try to do is be honest and transparent, and those are the things going through my head. And that's what's going through my head these days. I'm enjoying writing on Medium. I don't write every day. I'm aiming for at least a few days a week, or at least a couple days a week, if not more, and I'm enjoying that. I do find, though, after my trip across Canada, it's the second time I've done this. The first time took 2 months, the second time took 3 months, and those are blips on my life. When I look back at my 51 years, I look back on those and think, wow, I had so much fun on those, and I wish Mind Aid would, I don't want to say light me up more. I hate to say that because that is my life's work. That is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I'm trying to find a way to, maybe it's because I'm not working with people on Mind Aid, it's mostly me on a computer. Maybe if I've got people in a cooperative or nonprofit working with me, I'll have more fun. Maybe that's something that's missing. I have spent a lot of my life alone with schizophrenia. I've known a lot, met a lot of people throughout my life, but I have spent, if you chunk hour by hour and look at it, a lot of my time has been spent alone, and maybe that's the problem. Maybe I need to have more true fun with people instead of traveling the planet. So 2 people, as far as the cooperative goes, have reached out to me because I made a post asking if anybody wants to help out with Mind Aid or be a part of a cooperative or be on a nonprofit board, that sort of thing, be involved in some way, whether it's just being mildly curious and wanting to learn more about what I'm proposing here, or actively wanting to be involved. One person has said they're interested in helping out, but they're just busy right now. They'll follow me, and maybe in the future they'll be able to be on a board or part of a cooperative. And then another person has said they sounded more ready to work right away. They didn't say, yes, I will. They just said they'd like to learn more about what I'm doing, but they are doing a lot of similar work already in their own life is what I'm doing. So that's 2 people who've shown interest. So it's, I do want to run with that though. So I'm, like I said, that's most of the things I have to say today. That's my map. And I know I'm a little all over it, but that's where I am, and I am struggling a bit for money, getting by, just scraping by. But and I want that to change. So I'm hoping, because I've known for years about Brad Blazer. I've known about him for years, but what he said about not seeking, being the one who sought out. I have known about that for years. I've known for years it's not, ideally you don't want to be desperate, I guess. You could argue there's a case for being desperate if you're really, if your life's at stake, it could increase your chances of survival. But anyway, so I've known about not being desperate for years, and being, more of being one someone seeks out. But I never was able to feel it. But today, I got more of a feeling for it. Just like maybe 45 minutes ago, I was able to visualize it and feel it. And it's so neat because I started to reword, because for 5 years now with MindAid, I would, when I talk to people about MindAid, I word it in different ways. I use the emotion, I use my voice. I didn't know how how not to do it from a place of seeking, of desperation. And I was able to do it. I visualized it, I could feel it, I could see it. I was rewording in my head how I would reword what I do to other people, and it's neat. It really is neat. I just don't want to lose my energy and drive and just sort of be lazy and expect everything to come to me. I don't want that to happen. I want to still do my work, and yeah. So took 20 minutes to say all that. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate all of you who tune in and are following and offering help and support. And thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I've given you a slightly better view today. It's warm, 10 degrees, and I came outside on this glorious day here on December 1st. This is not a typical day for December. It's, yeah, so there's some nice scenery. I'm not in my car or in a house. Some boring background, some boring plain wall behind me. I've got this beautiful creation that the universe gives us. This planet. Look at it. Look at it. Oh, there's the waves. I didn't show you the waves. That's what you've been listening to. I guess you can hear them the whole time I've been talking. Beautiful. Life is beautiful. See you later.